Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to recruit you, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show. It's a wild card Wednesday. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling right here on your home for Alabama Sports, Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. It is the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. That's Box Eye Care. You can check them out at boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com. They power the Martin Houston Show each and every day. Dr. Box and his team, Daniel Box, OD, 205-342-0660. They have great service, which they've always had, but now at their new location, 1003 Oscar Baxter Drive, they've added an in-house lab, and that shows you that when you come in, you can be assured that you're going to get in and out in most cases within an hour with that great new look. So that's Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com, 205-342-0660. This is the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice, be glad in it. I'm ready to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. The playbook for today is we'll have a little carryover from Deal No Deal Tuesday as we focus in on what we have going on there. And, of course, we'll continue the conversation regarding the law is coming. So you can finish your thoughts. We didn't finish that, but it is a wild card Wednesday. So join the additional conversation where we talk about the captains, Alabama naming their permanent captains. No surprises there. Also, in the recruiting front, big news. I'll let X update you on that, but I'll also add a little flavor to the conversation in terms of the coach's new office. Is that the secret sauce? There's a couple other things. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go check out the images on facebook.com / The Martin Houston Show and see the difference in the coaches' offices. Pretty amazing what's happening there. And so we'll break down maybe X how maybe that's helping recruit as well. Some connectivity there. The future. What am I talking about? The future there. Ryan Williams getting a little love as a freshman All-American, and so we can talk about that. And then Do Right. That is the latest coach documentary on Coach Stallings, my coach. So I'm going to highlight that as well. Once again, hey, man, let's have a great show. Let's rejoice and be glad in the opportunity that God has given us and sure we make a difference in people's lives today. X, how you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Well, we got some big news yesterday on the recruiting front. Nobody's shocked by it or shouldn't be shocked by it if they, do any following of the program. But what's your thoughts on what Alabama's getting based on which recruiting service? He's 1, 2. It doesn't really matter. when you're that highly ranked. It's just a matter of where the love is, and you're expected to win and be a big time contender.
Yeah, running back Kalen Deere, number one, number two running back, depending on where you look, committed to Alabama yesterday, and that is a major get. Uh, a name that has been connected to Bama for the last couple months. He finally commits. He was a former Ole Miss commit out of Quitman, Mississippi. Uh, can't beat that. Can't beat that. Gives us two running backs in this class with Anthony Turbo Rogers out of Carver being the other one. Moves Bama back solidly into the number two spot. We haven't fallen out of the number two spot, but just created a gap between 2 and 3 and closed the gap between number 1 Ohio State.
Yeah, another good for Alabama. Definitely seems like a special kid from a player standpoint, leader standpoint, and was a target for this coaching staff. So kudos to them. I'm sure that's what Pat wants to talk about. Pat, you're in with Martin and Xavier on the hotline. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, nothing runs like a deer, Martin, but I want to talk about. I want to talk about Ty Jackson has scheduled a visit. Man, this coaching staff is unreal. What do you think?
And Pat, on the Ty Jackson, we'll probably kick that till tomorrow, since we'll have for recruiting. But yeah, big time news in the get, but also the fact that some people refer to the Ty Jackson kid as a budding 5-star in waiting. So
yes, sir. That's exactly what I was thinking to talk about. That we just picked up a 5-star running back. Hey, man, you can't say enough. Do not doubt DeBoer.
Hey, Pat,
huh?
let me help you out. If you don't know who's responsible for this recruiting class, I get Coach DeBoer is the overhead, but when a guy gets a $375,000 raise 7 months into being on campus, the university knows who man is. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Courtney Moore,
Morgan.
Courtney Moore.
I'm gonna rename him now, Captain Morgan.
I'm just
Captain Morgan.
When I messed with Ryan the other day, when I used to go, I still go on the show every day on Monday on 4:00. But he replaced my walk-up song, which is "Man," with Coach Nate's favorite song. But I told him I need the man. Well, that's if Courtney Moore walked to a room, that song should just automatically start playing in the room and in your head. He's the man.
Hey, how about this? And I'm gonna let you go. Hey, let's set sail with Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
And there the tide set sail with Captain Morgan.
They're rolling. X, you got anything on that before we let Pat go?
Yeah, I mean, Courtney Morgan, like you said, 7 months into a $300,000 raise, keeping him in Tuscaloosa away from Los Angeles, huge move there for Bama, and just shows the importance that he has been to this recruiting class and what he means to Coach DeBoer and how Coach DeBoer views him.
Yeah, and don't be surprised.
Well, but having somebody that's on top of everything to help him out, because he's got so much going on, and keeping players involved, keeping players that we've already got committed, and keeping current players that are on the team, everybody happy that this is all part of an even keel.
Yeah, I will love on CM Coach Morgan, but you have to give credit, and I was just harassing you when I was messing with you about that. Coach DeBoer is everything rises and falls on leadership, and he has a different approach. Saban was the man when it came to recruiting. This is the team when it comes to recruiting. And I think that going into the new world, I think that's part of what the problem was, Pat. You just nailed it. Saban was trying to keep up with who he was going to get because everything flowed through him. He was trying to keep the players that were here, and then he was trying to manage those relationships. This staff came in, and talked about relationships. And I believe that Coach DeBoer trusts his guys in their evaluation and is delegated, and it's a dispersed ownership of recruiting, and the sum of the total is going to be greater. And I know that people don't find this hard. It's going to be greater than what the sum of the individual was under Saban. X, respond, and we'll get the break. Thanks, Pat.
All right, have a good one.
100%. The way that this coaching staff is going about it, you see the outreach, you see the connections, and it's not just Coach Saban; it's all of them. With Coach DeBoer, it's the relationships that each individual coach is able to have with each individual player.
Yeah, and so it's sort of, to me, it kind of reminds me of X in the church, a small group. One of the things that's really hard for a senior pastor is to know who all's in church every Sunday, who has missed Sundays, who is sick. And so if he doesn't have a team that is responsible for pastoral care, and he tries to do it, then people will miss Sundays. People will be leaving. People will be disgruntled. And you don't know that, and you can't keep that connection there. Well, that's what he's doing here. Is he has a small group, and each one of these coaches have players that they're connected with, that they're building relationships with, and I think they're in charge of that relationship. And he just has to ask them, how is this kid doing? How is this kid doing? Versus every one of the kids. But X, when they come to his office, what happens in that office? We'll talk about that on the other side, because I do think he also plays a key role in what's happening. As we get to break here, we'll kick off the second quarter when we get back. But before we do that, go check out North River Timber Company, timber harvesting, appraisals, and management. North River Company, Courtney White and Chase Pearson, they've been doing this for 11 years and counting in 4 West Alabama counties and counting. If you're looking for those services, once again, that's harvesting, appraisals, and management, call 205-242-5127, 205-799-0665. Either one of those will get you Courtney White or Chase Pearson, or if it's easier, just email northrivertimberco@gmail.com. Courtney White says, having land is like money in the bank. Maximize your land and its value today. North River Timber Company.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, a very good Wednesday hump day to you. We're getting off to a nice and quiet start in the area. Don't see any cause for alarm. You do have road work, so just be aware of those sites. On Greensboro Avenue, southbound at 26th Street, you have the right lane closure, and they pick that up on tomorrow. 15th Street at 2nd Avenue, also long-term road work, and Forest Lake. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org.
It's the year-end clearance sale at Townsend Nissan going on now. You can save thousands. See BJ or Kylan today at Townsend Nissan, your savings place.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Join us Thursday nights at 8 for Coach's Huddle on Tide 100.9. Coach's Huddle is your insight into your local prep sports program and is brought to you by Venue Tuscaloosa, Barkley GMC, and Legend Energy Drinks.
Ashfest, a great local music event featuring live bands, comedy, and more is coming back to Druid City Brewing Company on Saturday, August 24th. Doors open up at 3 p.m. Tickets are $10 with proceeds benefiting the Tuscaloosa Metro Animal Shelter. Learn more at ashfest.org.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a premium freeze-dried raw dog food designed to support your dog's health, happiness, and lifespan. Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of cod Krispies. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Jen, I just stopped in to say hello. Oh my gosh, look how busy it is in here. How did you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't really growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are here for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many Tuscaloosa customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today with a high in the upper 80s, around 88. Tonight, fair with the low at 68. Tomorrow, partially sunny, a small chance of a shower, the high 89. And Friday, a good supply of sunshine with a high at 90. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, powered by Fox Eye Care. Don't forget to check out the Legacy swag. Get your co-branded Alabama swag, the Legacy collection, powered by Martin Houston himself. So go check it out. You can scan the QR code right here if you're on the live. And if you're not on the live, just go to athletesthread.com/collections/Martin-Houston. Click that and get your Legacy gear today. All right, we're back in. Once again, it's Box Eye Care powering the Martin Houston Show. All right, X, before we get into the civic conversation around still kind of semi-recruiting and giving coach some love, Curtis Moore had the following question. He said he was going to ask this question on tomorrow, but we'll ask it now since we were on the topic. For you, X, from Curtis Moore II, do you think there's any chance AK will flip like the Selma kid and Antonio Coleman? I hope not. The AK flip would hurt more, I think.
I think he took his time.
Start over. You were not coming through.
No, I think he took his time. Look, he decommitted 2 months ago, and then he went on his visits. He after his visits, he sat back and from it seems like thought it out with his family, thought about the best options, and then finally committed. I mean, I think it was always Ole Miss or Alabama, and I think with Ole Miss taking Shy Mills tonight, I think he is locked in with Bama and will be a part of the class come December.
All right. Do you think that was as much about which one you think happened first, they knew that they were not going to get him, so they took the kid from Tennessee, or the kid from Tennessee committing pushed him toward Bama?
I think they knew they weren't going to get him, and I think them taking Mills Knight was the icing on the cake.
Right. All right. Once again, hey, if you want to get in on the conversation, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904, or just ask your question and comments in the chat, and we will work them into the conversation. J-Rob, you're in. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, Martin and Nick. I hope all is well today.
All is well.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Good deal. We're AJ McCarron days away from kickoff, I believe, today, aren't we?
I don't do a good job with that, but we're next week. I know it. Hey, I know it. I know it's next Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday week, yeah.
Yeah. So
Saturday week.
I always ask people, do you count the day of the kickoff? Do you count today? I'm not always sure how you do it, but I can tell you one more Saturday. And it's crazy to think about, but it's time to start getting hyped. Next week, J-Rod, we're going to finally give what we think will be the final depth chart. During the summer and spring, it's kind of hard to do that because you just don't know who's having the best camp. But I think we're getting close enough that next week we'll hit that.
Yeah, I don't know whether you count the day of the kickoff or not, but I think they are doing that, and I just go with what the majority has been going as far as this countdown. So that's
follow
what
Ryan Fowler.
The majority.
Follow Ryan Fowler. He'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah. You're right. But I'm. Go ahead.
Mm-mm.
I was gonna say that I'm glad that Coach is changing his office. I mean, it's just another thing. He's got to put his touch on everything. Do it his way, and that just goes to show that you can. You can do it a different way. It may not be the same, but there's more than one way to do it. Just like the way they're recruiting, just the way these, the proof is in the pudding. You got to have the wins, but the way things are setting up and the way things look, I think that there's more than one way to do it. The way he's doing it is different. The way he manages his players is different. The way his offense is going to be different. His defense is going to be different. And we're just going to have to get used to it. Just like we'll have to get used to Coach Saban on Saturday morning on game day. That's going to be really weird to me.
X.
Yeah, I mean, you want each coach to have his identity, and that's why I kind of love the fact that we went outside of the box with Coach DeBoer, because he doesn't necessarily have the feet. He has pressure for sure, but he doesn't have the connection to Coach Saban to feel like he has to be Coach Saban, if that makes sense. And that's one of the reasons. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm glad we stepped outside of the box with him.
There's a song, or at least words in a song, that says "Free to be me," and I think DeBoer is 100% free to be himself. So I love it.
But he does give Coach Saban the respect, and he knows that his office door is open if he needs to go ask a question or ask his advice on something. And I like that he's humble enough to do that if he wants to.
Agree. So. He's to this point. I tell people I can't tell you whether we're going to win a bunch of games or not. All right, but to this point, he has nailed everything else. I mean,
right.
I can't. Like I said, I can't tell you what we're going to do. I know what I feel. I feel like we're going to be good, but at this point, he has. If you were to ask somebody, has he met, came up short, or exceeded expectations to this point? I don't think there's anybody in the world that's not motivated by hate or something that would say that he's come up short.
That's right.
They would all say he has exceeded expectations.
He's definitely exceeded expectations to this point, but the proof is in the pudding. We got to get the winning done.
He can't, J-Rob, he can't do that yet.
Oh, I know that. I know.
What's proof in the pudding? Or does he have to do it this year?
Well, you know, that's another whole show, Martin. I don't know for sure if that's going to be.
That's what
to me, I would be disappointed in more than 2 losses. I just say that.
That's my point. Alabama fans are giving him this year to prove it, and that's unfair.
Yeah, that is.
Alabama fans,
I mean,
you're one of the most level-headed callers I have, and even you have an expectation that he will be failing if he don't get us to a deep run in the playoffs. I mean, I'm putting words in your mouth, but I don't think you would disagree based on what I've heard you say and how you said it. And to me, that's unfair because the greatest coach to ever coach here won 6 games in the SEC. I don't care how good the SEC was. I don't care how bad Alabama was. The guy before him won 10 games.
Well, you know, it's what Coach Saban has put it. He's instilled this fire and this hunger in us, and everything that we hear is good about Coach DeBoer, and we just don't. We expect it to just roll right on.
I know, and I'm
not. That's unfair,
but
that's just the way we feel. You
know?
I
know I'm not disagreeing with you that that's not my expectation, but I will not jump off this guy's bandwagon if we lose 2 or more games this year because I believe in him, and I believe that the worst thing that could happen for the Alabama fans if we lose 2 or 3 games is that this guy go, you know what? I'm going to just take my talent, and like LeBron said, I'm going to take my talent to South Beach or to the West Coast because this guy can flat out recruit. This guy can flat out coach. And even if we don't get there this year, I believe that Kalen DeBoer at the head of Alabama is a better projection than what Nick Saban would have been 5 years. In other words, if I had to choose today between where Alabama was headed, not for one season, but for the next 5, and I had to look at these 2 coaches, I'm choosing DeBoer over Saban because of the trajectory of the program. Ask your thoughts.
Oh, I agree 100% at this point because you're talking about a coach that is 49 years old, that has proven that he can win at every opportunity he's been given, and he's taken teams with less talent in a short period of time to high levels. So now that he's got the talent, he's got the resources, and he's got the energy, 5 years – 5 years, I definitely believe Alabama has another national championship and is constantly competing.
Yeah. So, you know, and I get what you're saying, J-Rob. I'm going to be in the same boat with you. I just don't want the Alabama
I'm not going to get off that bandwagon. I promise you, Martin. I've been through all the Mikes, the Mike Dubos, the Mike Schuler, Mike Price. I'm a fixture on that bandwagon. I will never get off. Y'all have a great day. Roll Tide.
Thanks, J-Rob. I'm not worried about Alabama fans getting off the bandwagon. I'm worried about DeBoer getting off the bandwagon and saying, you know, I'm not worried about Alabama fans. I ain't worried about. I mean, this dude, look at what he's done. This is a tumultuous time in college football. Tumultuous. And he has stabilized this program. He's stable. This could have become a disaster. He should be coach of the year just for stabilizing. Think about this. X, when we come back on the other side, make a note of this. I want you to talk about DeBoer's recruiting in his office and why that matters. And I have another church analysis to manage. But also, I want to talk about what, as far as this program, what he dealt with. I think we've forgotten because he's been so good. what happened right at the beginning and what could have happened and what that's the equal to. So as we go to break, I want to thank the folks over at Taco Casa. Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. Go check them out for lunch and or dinner. 50 years and counting. The Wilkin family has been a staple in Tuscaloosa, and they're not going anywhere on the football field, the basketball court, and in the restaurant world. Go check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. TacoCasa.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, a very good Wednesday hump day to you. We're getting off to a nice and quiet start in the area. Don't see any cause for alarm. You do have road work, so just be aware of those sites. On Greensboro Avenue, southbound at 26th Street, you have the right lane closure, and they pick that up on tomorrow. 15th Street at 2nd Avenue, also long-term road work, and Forest Lake. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We can get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
They say to make yourself indispensable at work, so I developed a digital catering solution that only I can operate. Okay, it's actually EasyCater.com.
David!
They love me, because I, the director of catering logistics, not a real job, use EasyCater to get catering from all our favorite restaurants. Tight budget? No problem. Need vegetarian options? Gluten-free? Check and check.
D-Man, you crushed lunch today.
It was easy. EasyCater.
EasyCater is your all-in-one tech platform for ordering food for work. Start your order at EasyCater.com.
Hey, Bama fans, this is quarterback Jalen Milroe for my friends at Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Before you shop anywhere else for a Dodge Ram truck, a Jeep, a Dodge Challenger, or a Dodge Charger, shop local. An amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles are on the lot now. Go see for yourself at 550 Skyline Boulevard East in Tuscaloosa, or you can shop online at TuscaloosaCDJR.com. At Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you pick it out and we'll work it out. Roll Tide!
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how happy and healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Introducing Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food.
I have been feeding them Dr. Marty's freeze-dried raw formula for years. And this food is a big part of why their jaws are more flexible, their teeth are cleaner, and their coats shinier, and why they seem more youthful and playful.
And dog parents across the U.S. are loving it.
My dog Hazel is a 10-and-a-half-year-old golden retriever, and ever since I've been feeding her Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend food, she is like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
We're so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee. And for a limited time, save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of Cod Crispies. They're wild caught, ultra crunchy cod skin treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511 today. All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, powered by Bob's Eye Care, Bob'sEyeCare.com. Go check them out. The venue of Tuscaloosa, the venue at Tuscaloosa's hot new gathering for family and friends, the best hangout in town, located off of Waterman Road, just past Sokol Park and across the street from the rodeo. Whether you're looking for the great food from Finney's Pub or the sweets from Liza's Sweet Shop, or if you're a breakfast all day type of person, check out Rama Jammas. That's the venue at Tuscaloosa. They also will be hosting the fifth quarter. So check them out, the fifth quarter, a great family hangout after the game. free entry, food, drinks with purchases, DJ, live music starts around 9:30 on Fridays through 11:30 p.m. Great place, post-game hangout for family and friends, not teenagers. So no unattended teenagers under the age of 13. So don't drop them off and leave. This starts on August 30th, and you can find out more details at the venue. All right, X, as we're going, so much to get to. Definitely want to keep the conversation rolling. Quickly respond to this office. In terms of what Kalen DeBoer has done, and whether or not you think does this help recruiting in terms of his office, because that thing is sweet. Comparatively speaking.
Yeah, it didn't get much better than that office. It is a thing of beauty. The updated, the modern look, definitely something Alabama fans would have to get used to, compared to we've seen the old school traditional style that was Coach Saban's office. But man, it is sleek, it is sharp, it is everything that you think of when you think of the modern era.
Yeah, without a doubt. And listen, it may not seem like that big a deal, X, unless you're a recruit. And I this is what I always say. This is an analysis I'll make really quick, and then we'll move to another topic. I look at it from this standpoint. I tell churches, you need to modernize. And we had to go through this process at Harvest Church and still have work to do. But if your place is the only place that people walk into and it's a throwback, it's not good. That's just not good. And so, you know, you look at the coach's office, you literally could almost pop in every coach since Coach Bryant and it'd be about the same coach's office. That's definitely not the case, because what this speaks to young people, X, is this dude is contemporary and he gets us. So I know it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but it does have impact, and I think it'll only give dividends moving forward. Before we move off of Coach, because that's a tangible thing, but I don't think it's a direct thing. How he handled this thing, X, do you know how bad this could have been? Like I said, he should be Coach of the Year just for the way he handled the transition. Because you take the greatest roster in college football, potentially, and tell every other school in the country that they can come get your players. Now, forget NIL. If that was just the case, it's going to be a free-for-all, okay? You now have no coaching staff. You have the best roster, and now you throw in that they can buy those players. And to keep the guys he kept is absolutely amazing. And I think it all started with these four guys that I'm showing on the screen here, the four captains. Just talk about that and talk about these captains, Booker and Milroe and Lawson and Moore. Just the job that these four guys and DeBoer did, and why that bodes well for Alabama moving into this season.
Man, on that note, I think it is awesome that you see kind of a throwback, something that was done before Coach Saban, where you had the captains picked before the season started, and these are the guys that you know are going to go out and be the face of your program every time you first line up on the field, compared to what we've seen in the past up under Coach Saban. But yeah, those four guys, when you talk about them, you talk about the message and the tone that they set from the very beginning. These were guys who were committed to Alabama, that weren't planning on leaving Alabama. And especially when you look at a guy like Malachi, who could have also gone to the NFL. You see that. You see Booker and Milroe and Lawson as guys that were highly sought after guys in the portal, them all deciding to return and now being the face of this 2024 team, the face of the transition. Booker said it the best, talking about his legacy. can't be more proud of young men like that.
Yeah, when we talk about legacy, I have to you have to think, legacy. He said, "My legacy can't be bought," and that's what inspired the whole legacy collection that I came up with was Booker and those words. Another quick topic before we get to the law coming, because I promised we would hit that. Was this young man, Ryan Williams, according to On3, preseason true freshman All-American candidate. So just talk about him and what he's been able to do. In just, I don't think we're. I know we've talked about him, but this is crazy. What he's been able to do, being a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah, he's a kid that should be getting ready to play his first high school game of his senior year this weekend. And yet he's on Alabama's campus and looks to be a guy that's going to be a key contributor to this 2024 team. And not many 17-year-olds can do that. And Alabama has a couple. He's not the only one on this team that did that. You look at LT Overton, who skipped his senior year as well. So this just shows you that these young guys are more prepared than they ever have been before. And he's a guy who didn't even get a spring. So he's doing this in a couple months.
Yeah, and to your point, X, and that's why I tell people, I said, I know they're true freshmen, but this shows you, to your point, just how prepared these guys are. And of course, I think, the wide receiver position is a lot easier to transition than defensive line and all of that. And so, it is obvious that that he's come in and made the transition. But I think other guys will be able to do that. And I think that's why I'm not as worried as some people are about Alabama's defensive backfield. Because I think the youth and all of that and the way these guys come out prepared, they're just ready to play faster than what we have become accustomed to. But you bring up the Overton, and I'll quickly hit over on that, X, is the Overton situation is actually a positive to me, because I think it's taken him a couple years to adjust. And I think we're going to see that 5-star talent come flying through. So respond to that, and then just talk about we talked about Kendrick Law and what we thought he would do and whether he'd have a breakout season and take the biggest jump of any wide receiver. So hit those two before you come back to me.
Yeah, when you look at LT, he didn't have as fast of an adjustment as it appears that Ryan has had, but he was a key contributor for 2 years, and I think you're finally going to see in what should be his sophomore season that jump, that explosive play that a lot of people felt that he could have coming out of high school. And then you flip over to Kendrick Law, and I think Kendrick Law is going to be such a dynamic weapon for this offense. I don't think he's a 1,000-yard receiver, and that's not because of his talent, but I think that's just because of the depth of this team and the way that he himself will be used. And I think he's going to be used in a myriad of ways. I think he's a guy that could end up this year with, 500 to 600 yards receiving, but he also might fool around and give you 300 on the ground. That's just the dynamic playmaker that he is.
And I'm not saying he won't get 1,000 yards. Because he could become that dude. But I tend to think like you do, deal that he's going to take biggest jump. It may not be the biggest jumps in yards. The biggest jump may be impact on the game, because I think he's going to be a difference maker. I think he's going to be a guy that you can count on in the clutch. I think that run against Auburn was a 4th and 1 reverse. He's bigger, faster, and stronger, and a year older. and he's in a more explosive offense. So what's your total yards, do you think, for K-Law?
I think he gets somewhere, excuse me, in that 800 to 1,000 yard range. But I think the way it's done is just going to be so impactful because you're not going to know where it's coming from.
Yes, it's going to be the utilization and the efficiency of that 800 to 1,000 yards. And I'm going to say with all-purpose receiving, rushing, and return, he goes over 1,000. Kendrick Law, deal. Take him if you're betting on a receiver for Alabama. Coming back on the other side, we're going to have the Harvest Church 2-minute warning, which will include Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries, with the Christian Moment of the Week.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of The Game, Aaron Torres. We'll talk with him. We're going to recap another Alabama practice. We'll have offense front and center starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Wednesday morning. Tuscaloosa police asking for help in getting information on the June 20th shooting death of 34-year-old Christopher LeBryant Shobi. He was shot around 10 p.m. at 817 33rd Avenue. Investigators believe Shobi had been having problems with several people on the night of his death, and it's possible his shooting was witnessed by several people. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage all throughout the day. It's absolutely free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, moving with a purpose on the Tuscaloosa freeways in and outside of the construction zones. You're pretty good to go if I do say so myself. So, looking at those road zones or work zones on McFarland, both east and west found between Jack Warner Parkway and Lurleen Wallace, and that gets very heavy in that area. 2059 westbound, you've got some extensive construction between McFarland and Western Bypass. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
It's the year-end clearance sale at Townsend Nissan going on now. You can save thousands. See BJ or Kylan today at Townsend Nissan, your savings place.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
It's time to talk with your doctor about your risk for chronic kidney disease, CKD. If you have high blood pressure or diabetes, or if you smoke, you are at risk for CKD. Ask your doctor about your kidney function. The health of your kidneys is usually checked at least once or twice a year. Let your doctor know you are concerned about the health of your kidneys and ask what you can do to keep your kidneys healthy.
Do you have a renovation vision for your home? Let Shoot Masonry and Specialties transform those tired spaces in your home into vibrant havens. Whether it's a culinary dream kitchen, spa-like bathroom, or the warm glow of a brick fireplace crackling on a chilly night, let Shoot Masonry and Specialties create your vision into stunning reality with complete renovations. Experience the wow factor. Contact Shoot Masonry and Specialties at 205-887-3807 today and unleash your home's full potential.
You gotta eat. What are you doing? You gotta eat. Say, who do you think you are? You won't get far unless you eat. Say you got a date, won't wait. Say you got ambition, takes ammunition. You gotta eat, 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 eat. We'll get you in, we'll get you out, and in between, without a doubt, we'll give you something really, really good. That's Checkers.
Get 2 Checkers sandwiches for $4. Checkers on 15th Street across from Central and Northport next to Walmart.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back in to the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. 205-342-0660, or visit them online, set up everything at bacheyecare.com. All right, it's now time for the Harvest Church 2-minute warning, which today highlights Executive Director Scotty Hollins of Blueprint Ministry. So he joins the conversation today. Good morning, Scotty. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Martin. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well, man. Doing well. I'm glad that you've got up and Adam with us on this beautiful morning. And I'm going to toss it to you so you can encourage us. We can add our faith to the boardroom, our classroom, or our chosen field of play, which you do a great job working, with the basketball team. I want you to we've seen what they do, so I'm giving you credit, man. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm excited. Always a pleasure to join you, Martin, on Wednesday mornings. I look forward to it. I am going to continue our series, Friends Who Love Like This. Again, our example is Jesus. You can't get a better example than that. John 15:13, he says, greater love has no one than this, that you lay down your life for your friends. And in that example, which he says is the greatest expression of love, he says laying down your life for your friends is that greatest expression of love. It's basically doing what's best for the person that you're loving, no matter what it costs you. And so that's the greatest expression of love, obviously, and that we know Jesus would actually not just tell us, here's the greatest expression of love. He would actually eventually show us that greatest expression of love, which was doing what was best for us. We needed a savior. And it cost him his life, doing what was best for us, no matter what it cost him. So when we look at having friends or becoming friends like that, who love those around us and who are willing to do what they need most, even if it costs us greatly. We've been looking at other examples in the Bible. Today, we will look at a different example. This is one that I don't know that we, I love this example because it's kind of out of the box when you think of this kind of series, Friends Who Love Like This. It's Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And so, quick summary. They are, King Nebuchadnezzar says, hey, I got this statue. I want everybody to bow down and worship it. And whoever doesn't worship it will be thrown into a fiery furnace. Many of you know this story. And so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego say, look, man, we worship and serve only one God, and we will bow and worship him only. And our God's able to help us. He's able to deliver us. He's able to save us from your fiery furnace. My favorite passage. But even if he doesn't, we're still not going to bow down and
Nevertheless,
worship
faith.
your statue. Huh?
I said that nevertheless, faith.
Nevertheless, man. I love that. Yeah. So he says, nevertheless, whether he saves us or not, we're not bowing down to your statue. What happens is they don't bow down. They're thrown into the fiery furnace. And I'm speeding through this part of the story, which we usually is the main part of the story, but I'm speeding through it to get to the end, which I'm not sure. That's the part where sometimes we can miss. But, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are thrown into the fire. And obviously, if you guys remember, the fire's so hot that even the guy outside of the fire is burned. The king looks in. He's like, hold up, didn't we put 3 in there? I think I see a 4th one in there. It's like, no. Yeah, there is a 4th one in there. And it's the Lord in there protecting them. So then he says, all right, man, bring them out. They come out. And what he say? Like, bring them out, right? He says, bring them out, man. And then they come out, and they don't even smell like fire. Not one of their hairs is singed. Why do I use this message to communicate friends who love like this? Listen, these guys were willing to risk their lives to honor their God, right? To glorify God, to walk in obedience to God. But guess what they also did in the process? They were able to make God known, right, in a way that they would have never been able to make him known. And so they were friends who loved the people that were trying to make them bow down to this God. Listen to what King Nebuchadnezzar, and these are my closing words. This is King Nebuchadnezzar's impression from these men who really loved him well. He says, this is Daniel 3:20, verse 28. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in him and defied the king's command. He's the king. He's like, they defied my commands and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any God except their own God. Therefore, I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego it's kind of brutal here, be cut into pieces and their houses be turned into piles of rubble, for no other God can save in this way. You hear that? Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right, here's my point. They were focusing on just glorifying God, honoring him, and not willing to give in to the culture, and not willing to compromise who they were. And in so doing, they honored God, and they showed the world, here's who our God is. They made God known. Listen, when we become friends who love like that, our lives are going to make him known in ways that will literally transform the world. Martin?
Awesome. And I do not compare my story to being put in the fire. And we may never have to go to that extreme, but we walk through circumstances each and every day. We have a chance to glorify God in a similar fashion. And, when I was recently let go by Alabama 1 for no explained reason or anything, I had a choice of whether I served him or not. And people would say, man, why are you responding this way? I said, I serve him because he's good, not because it's good. I serve him because I trust him, not because of what I have or don't have. And so I try to, I'm going to serve God nevertheless. That nevertheless faith. And when you do that, other people see it. And I'd rather going through a storm or through a fire with Jesus than to be outside like the other people, the king and all those who died, to be in the fire with Jesus. Because, hey, I always tell people that door is open. And they had a choice whether they could step out or not, and they chose to keep walking in a circle with Jesus in the fire. So don't abandon Jesus in the fire. Love like these guys did, so that others can look at you go through the fire and then glorify your Father in heaven. Tell them where they can find you, Scotty.
Absolutely. You can go to www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com. You can send me a message there, and it comes straight to my email.
All right. Hey, Scotty, I have a picture of you up, and one of the listeners said, I didn't know you were taller than Coach Oates, the great Oates, Nate, the great Oates. All right. Hey, Scotty, I'm Executive Director of Blueprint Ministry. He joins us every Thursday for the Heart Church Christian Moment of the Week. As we get out of here, I want to remind you, check out Houston Hydra Clean. That is one of our new sponsors. I'll be telling you more about them as we move forward. Quality work you can stand on. They are one of our sponsors for the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show, shouting them out. And that's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, where we'll be highlighting the game of the week, Gordo and Fayette County. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. For Xavier, Martin, and Chase, we say roll tide, everybody.